Hello and welcome to one of the most anticipated announcements we've ever done. It's going to be an exciting night. I'll try to keep it quick, but these are some of the most exciting announcements we've ever made, and I can't wait to share everything with you. Years ago, when we first came up with the idea of Destination Extreme, it was to push the boundaries of what we knew as overlanding. It was to go further than we'd ever gone before, to go to new places that we had never been before. I'm excited to say that this past year has been one of the best years we have ever had. The places that we've gone and the people that we've brought along for those journeys have been nothing short of amazing. All three of our trips this past summer, starting with Newfoundland, then the Gaspé Peninsula, and then finally the Bay of Fundy, have been incredible. Every person that we've brought along for those journeys has absolutely loved it, and it's really encouraged us to do what we're about to do this evening and make the announcements we're going to make. Everything that's coming has been a long time in the works. We've made a lot of friends over the years in many different places, and we've tapped a lot of resources to pull all this together. So what is the next step? Well, we set the bar pretty high with our first trip to Newfoundland. It was absolutely a life-changing event for everyone that went, including myself. There was not a single one of us that once the end of the trip came about, we didn't want to leave. And that was the same for all three of our trips, including the Gaspé and the Bay of Fundy as well. These aren't just your weekend overland trip. These aren't just a week-long camping trip into the woods, a few hours from home. This is truly next level stuff. And with how high that bar has been set with the trips we've done so far, we've got to set that bar even higher for the future. So what are we doing? We're going further. We're going to more extreme places. And we're going to be doing some things that I guarantee was never on anybody's radar before. But now that it is, it's going to change your life. Now, before we get into it, I do want to say that the details for all of the trips we're about to announce will be live on our website tonight. You can find that at either DestinationXtreme.com or 207Overland.com. And again, that will be at the end of the video. Don't jump off of it as soon as the trip you want to go on is announced. It won't be live quite yet, but just wait to the end. I guarantee it'll be worth the wait. Now, one thing we heard a lot over this past summer was your Destination Extreme trips filled up so fast. I never got a chance to sign up for one, and I really want to go in the future. Well, I hope that we're going to be able to solve that problem. We've added a lot more trips and a lot more opportunities for you to get on a life-changing adventure with us next year.
I'm looking for someone to share in an adventure.
All right, I hope you guys are half as excited about what you just saw as I am to share it all with you. Let's get right into a brief summary of each trip, what it is going to look like, and then we'll tell you all about how to find out more. First trip on the docket is the Trans-Taiga. Now, for those of you who have not heard of that, it is the most remote road in all of North America that you can travel by vehicle. It's going to start in Quebec. Actually, right in Quebec City is going to be our meeting place, and then we're going to head straight north from there into the very remote regions of northern Canada. The biggest attraction for a trip like this is, by the end of it, just how remote you are. You're so far away from the nearest town, the nearest person, and because of that, you do have to be prepared. There's a lot of things that we have to do to prepare ourselves for that kind of a trip, but if you truly want to get away from everyone and everything, that's the place to do it. There's no other place quite like it. It's not the most technical of roads, but due to the extreme remoteness of it and the fact that it is an out and back type trip, it is one to be taken seriously. But it's going to be a fun trip. It's going to be unlike anything we've ever done before, and I can't wait to share it with you all. Next up, we have Overland Trek across Canada, OTAC New Brunswick. That's going to be a very fun trip. For those of you who aren't familiar with our OTAC series, it's basically a very strategic planned event that takes us from one side of the province to the other. We avoid pavement at all costs, and we have a highly specialized group of people that goes with us to do that. Everyone that attends this trip will have a specific role. For example, one vehicle might be the recovery guys for the trip, another one might be the cook for the trip. Everyone chips in, everyone helps out, but it's fun to have everyone have a specific role. That's all that you have to concentrate on the trip, and the trip lead and navigational roles basically make it a fun and relaxing trip for everyone else. Now, this trip is going to start in New Brunswick, Canada, basically just off the northeastern border of the state of Maine, and it's going to work our way south and end on the coast on the Bay of Fundy. It's going to be a little over a week-long trip, tons of fun, a great variation of terrain we'll experience along the way, and it should be just a great time for all. Next up, we have another OTAC, Overland Trek across Canada. This time we're going to be starting in the province of Quebec and working our way west in the woods, avoiding pavement, and we're going to be heading towards the famous Swisha Loop. Now the Swisha Loop is a loop of technical terrain of every different nature that changes all the time depending on the weather and rain that they've had up there, but it's a very fun and challenging loop, and I can't wait to do it with you guys. It's going to be a great trip, and should be a ton of fun. Up next on the docket is our brand new Epic West adventure. Now, we've been wanting to go out west for quite some time, but there's a lot to see out there. We had a hard time deciding on the specific locations to hit, but I think we've picked some of the best of the best. We're going to start our journey leaving northern New Jersey. That's going to be our meeting location, and we're going to head west from there. The first place we will hit is the Glacier National Park in Montana. It's a beautiful place. If you've never been, the scenery is out of this world. From there, we will cross over into Canada, into British Columbia more specifically. And the first trail that we're going to be hitting there is the Whipsaw Trail. Now, that is a world-famous British Columbian overland and off-road trail. There's something there for everybody, a little bit of every type of terrain imaginable. It's going to be a ton of fun. From there, we're going to go over to the very western coast of British Columbia and take a ferry across to Vancouver Island. Once over there, again, another just absolutely scenically beautiful place to explore. We'll be spending quite a bit of time there on the island itself before returning to the mainland and heading north. Once we're back over in mainland British Columbia, we're going to head up through the Harrison Lake Trail, which is another awesome scenic overlanding trail in that area. And then finally doing the Caribou Chilcotin Trail. This is another one that's similar to the Whipsaw Trail that has a lot of different options for different terrain types, anything from mild to wild. Most of the more extreme stuff does have bypasses, so if you're not quite comfortable, you can take the loop around as well. From there, we will continue pressing north and doing the world-famous Telkwa Pass. If you haven't heard or seen anyone do that before, you should look it up. The scenery, the mountains, the cliffs that you pass through in that area are absolutely breathtaking, and you'll never forget it. Now, once we are out of Telkwa, we've got one more amazing stop on our journey before we head back east. We're going to be taking a trip up to Hyder, Alaska. Hyder is in the very south of the state of Alaska, and it's an amazing place. Again, just absolutely breathtaking scenery, but we'll be crossing over into Alaska, and then once we're in town, crossing back over into British Columbia to explore the area there, just outside of town. Now, this area is famous for its glaciers, old mining roads, caves in the cliffside. There's just something here for everyone, and it is absolutely breathtaking. The whole trip is going to be amazing from beginning to end, and I'm really looking forward to it. Now, the next trip on our list for the year, we've been there last year and we can't stay away. It was just that good, is Newfoundland Return to the Rock. Last year's experience was absolutely incredible, and we look to simply expand on that and include even more this time around. A week just is not enough time over there to see all that there is to see. The scenery, the people, the culture, the food, everything was better than we could have ever anticipated, and we are really looking forward to going back. This year is going to be a bit different. We are adding more time on the west coast of the island. We are also going to take a different route over there this time and go through the world-famous Trans-Labrador Highway. Trans-Labrador will leave from the Quebec area in Canada and travel some very remote roads going over to the coast, where we will take a short ferry ride over to the northwestern peninsula of Newfoundland itself. We'll spend quite a bit of time exploring the west side of the island there and everything that it has to offer. Anything from mild to wild trails, amazing world-class camping along the way, and finally an overnight ferry back to Nova Scotia, where we will then make our way back to the state of Maine. I can't recommend the trip enough. Again, it was absolutely mind-bogglingly amazing, and just an awesome experience for everyone who came. And last but not least, for 2025, we're going to go out with a bang on our southern expedition. This trip is going to feature stops in both the Ozarks for about a week, exploring the terrain there, and then finally down to the state of Florida for the Florida Adventure Trail. Both areas and both experiences are wildly different, but a ton of fun, and it's going to be just an awesome opportunity for us to escape the cooler weather and head south and really enjoy our time there. Now, the Ozarks are a world-class destination in and of themselves. The terrain there is absolutely amazing. The scenery, breathtaking. The trails, again, anything from mild to wild, but it can vary greatly depending on the weather that they've had. Either way, you're going to be looking at a ton of water crossings, some technical trails, great scenery, and just a relaxing time around the campfire each night. Once we get down into Florida, many people, when they think of Florida, they don't think of anything overlanding or off-road, but there is a 1,200-mile overland trek or loop in the area there that is a ton of fun, and we can't wait to explore that with you all. Now, just like the video said, wait, there's more. 2026 is going to be even more incredible. And even though there's going to be more trips to come for the 26 season, 2 of them specifically, we wanted to give you all that much more time in advance to prepare for them. The New Zealand Epic and Expedition Alaska are going to be absolutely out of this world. New Zealand has been a long time in the making. We've been talking with some local guides in the area there just to make sure that it's a perfect trip. Being that it is worlds away, there is obviously a large international flight to get there. It is not cost effective, unfortunately, to take our vehicles, but that's the only bad news. The way that this trip is going to work is we've been working with a local company there to have a fleet of brand new Toyota Hiluxes ready for us when we land. The price for the trip includes all of your camping gear, all of your fuel, all of your food, all of your gas as well, and the rental vehicles. So everything that you need is going to be right there when we land. And you want to talk about an amazing trip. There is a reason why some of the best or biggest Hollywood movies have been filmed in New Zealand in the past. Films like the Lord of the Rings trilogy, Mission Impossible, they're filmed there because of the world-class scenery. We've got awesome mountains and terrain here in the States, but nothing holds a candle to what they have there in that country. Once landing, we're going to spend about a 2-week period of time exploring the South Island of the country. New Zealand and Australia are kind of the OG overland scene back where it all began, and for good reason. The terrain that we'll experience there is absolutely incredible. Just exploring the backcountry, it's going to be an amazing time. There's so much more that you'll be able to see on our website tonight that explains everything, and the pictures there are absolutely breathtaking. It's going to be the trip of a lifetime. I know we throw that around a lot, but this time it is no exaggeration. This is a bucket level or bucket trip level event, something that can only be experienced one time for most people, and we're going to pull the trigger and do it for 2026. Finally, also being announced for 26 is Expedition Alaska. Now, Alaska is an epic region in and of itself, the largest state in the country. The terrain there is absolutely breathtaking, and it is a long ways away. So for us East Coast people, we're going to be taking a plane there, and just like New Zealand, the best way to do this is to have a fully equipped fleet of vehicles waiting for us when we land. Now, these vehicles are going to be newer Toyota 4Runners, Tacomas, that are all equipped with the latest rooftop tents, kitchen gear, and supplies that you need for an amazing time around the state of Alaska. We're going to spend a couple of weeks there exploring all there is to see. Alaska is a huge state, so we're going to try to hit the very best regions we can along the way. But it's just going to be an amazing time. Again, another trip that's been a long time in the works, and I can't wait to share it with you all. The details for all of these trips are going to be available shortly at 207overland.com and DestinationXtreme.com. There's a lot more information for everybody there. All of these trips are going to be limited, most of them to 5 vehicles. The 2 big ones in 26, we're going to do 10 vehicles in New Zealand and 10 vehicles in Alaska as well. But the reason why we do limit them like we do is just to keep the group small and to make sure that everyone has a great time. Either way, it is going to be a absolutely wild ride the next couple of years, and we've been looking forward to this for a very long time. Now, before we go, one last thing that I want you all to be the first to know about is that Wednesday, December 4th at 7 p.m. is the reveal night for all of our 2025 207 Overland trips. That night is going to be another wild ride of amazing new trip releases. All of our trips for 2025 are going to be completely brand new, redesigned and reimagined from the bottom up. So just a brand new experience for all that attend. And there's going to be quite a few more this year to give everyone a chance to experience everything that our trips have to offer. And again, don't forget, all of our details are going to go live any second at DestinationXtreme.com or 207overland.com. The trips themselves, the reservations for them, will go live on October 10th at 7 p.m. Thank you guys very much for tuning in. I hope you all enjoyed it. I can't wait to see everything that the next couple of years has in store for us together.